You're listening to the Never Heard of It podcast,
a Night Shift Radio original. Every week we bring you the good,
the bad,
the weird,
and lesser known streaming movies.
Hit subscribe for new episodes every Thursday and Sunday. Hey Caleb, how you doing?
Michael. I'm pretty good. I've been doing a lot of reading lately, and it feels good. I'm having I think I talk about this a little bit on the upcoming episode, although as we know, things are a little bit jumbled this month. But I've been trying to find something to scare me without luck. But I'm also I'm having fun just doing a lot of reading. It feels good.
That is good. So conversely, I have not done a lot of reading. Scripts. I've been reading a few scripts. But I just recently watched. So here's the thing. So we were just talking, about a couple of things, and I want to bring both of them up. So. Okay. One of them, we talk about jump scares. We were talking about jump scares before we hit record, and we were like, hey, we should probably hit record. So The Midnight Club, which is Mike Flanagan's brand new series on Netflix, no spoilers if you haven't watched it yet, currently holds the record for the most amount of jump scares. That's 21 jump scares in the first episode alone. Oh. So this is a crazy thing about the Midnight Club. Now, the Midnight Club...
No, Michael, it's 21 Jump Street.
Oh, 20. Starring Johnny Depp. Yeah. So 21 jump scares in the episode. Now, we had talked about what's called unearned jump scares, right?
Yeah.
You brought up the example of Haunting a Hill House.
Oh my God.
Where there was a very tense scene where the sisters are fighting. They're in the car and they're like rah 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 rah, and then out of the darkness in the middle of the car, we see a ghost kind of come up and rah, and it scares the shit out of you because you're already in a very tense scene.
It is probably the best jump scare I've ever seen, and the one that's
it's great.
I am on record, and you and I were just talking about this. I think most of the time jump scares are lazy. They just they just take advantage of it's a quiet moment. They use loud noises and quick camera cuts to try to get a cheap scare. I don't think that it doesn't really work on me anymore. It's a startle, but it's not a scare. It's not scary, and it doesn't do anything to add to the tension of the film. And I like something that just kind of slowly picks you apart until you have no defenses left, and then they hit you with the big scare. That's what Hill House does. And I see that Mike Flanagan is attached to this Midnight Club.
So Mike Flanagan is so he is responsible for the Midnight Club. The Midnight Club, great, by the way. Totally watch it. It's absolutely amazing. But the first episode, so the plot of the Midnight Club is a bunch of terminally ill teenagers are basically put in this house, like a hospice type house, but it's this really old, creepy house. And they have what's called a Midnight Club, which for those of you guys who grew up on SNCC and Saturday Night Nickelodeon, you're probably thinking that's the plot of Are You Afraid of the Dark? And yes, it is. It is literally Are You Afraid of the Dark with F words. And it's great, and it works fine. And they even called themselves the Midnight Club, and they were the Midnight Society.
Yeah.
Yep. But this is what it is. They get together very late at night and they tell ghost stories. So the first episode, there are 21 jump scares within the first, one of the first stories told. Now, this goes the opposite direction, though, than the other ones where we called unearned jump scares or the ones that you see them coming. You're like, yep, they framed the camera it's the over the shoulder shot. It's the tense music, that the jump scare is coming and you're waiting for it to happen. The jump scares in this one happen in the exact opposite effect, in the fact that they do it so much that you were on edge of what is the next one, because it's nonstop, bah, 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 and it's great. And it actually works out. It kind of works out in their favor, because it's almost like they overkill it to the point where you're just oh my God, just do it. I know it's coming, just do it. Here it is, it's happening.
Okay.
And I think it works out. Now, none of them scared me. I didn't startle at any of them. But it is it gets you in that motion of you're just there's the other one. There's the other one. Really great. So if you have not watched Midnight Club, definitely check that out. Highly recommend it.
Oh, that's going to be something for me to watch when I eventually re-up Netflix, because we're on hiatus from that. But I mean, Hill House, Bly Manor, Midnight Mass, all absolutely phenomenal shows.
Yeah, so
like,
good.
Honestly, some of the best horror, just in general, that I've ever seen, and especially in recent years. As happens, things just eventually become reductive and repetitive and not fresh and new anymore, and it's hard. I get it, but somehow, like, Mike Flanagan and the people that become attached to these projects that he works on seem to fucking do it. They pull it off. They make things feel fresh and fun and scary, and so I'm very much looking forward to that. Speaking,
and then
go
so
on.
I got one more thing, because there's so the other thing we were talking about. We started talking about Ready Player One, and you use that in reference to something. So there's a brand new show on Amazon Prime called The Peripheral. And it stars Chloe Grace Moretz, who, by the way, we recently found out is a huge gamer. She just got a custom PC built for her by a company called Power GPU. But she has been playing Destiny, which Caleb and I both enjoy. So that's pretty fun. But she's been playing a lot of first-person shooter games and video games in general, and just got a brand new custom PC sent to her. But she's in a brand new series called The Peripheral, and The Peripheral is made by the same folks that did Westworld, and it's obvious. But it is really, really cool, but it has this Ready Player One vibe where it's the headset you wear and you get immersed into a world, and it's very, it's GTA, but you can kind of walk around and you feel things. And she's like an elite, gamer. Like, she's just like a really good gamer in this world. What I like about it, though, so far, no spoilers, is that it doesn't rely on the game to drive the plot. The game is an aspect of a larger plot, and that's what I really like about it. The game is a vehicle to get you to the bigger plot, instead of being like, look, it's, Ready Player One is like, look, it's a game. You're in this game world. Free Guy does it in the good way, right? Where it's like, it's the other way around. You're in the game world and you're looking into the real world. This is real world looking into the game world. The game really is just like hey, this game is here. Wait, now that you're in this game, you've discovered this other shit going on, and maybe there's bigger things happening. And so far, I'm on like episode 4 because it's coming out weekly. Really great show. Really, really great show. I'm very excited to see where this is going, because it has elements of like that sort of Westworld, like, wait a minute, what the fuck? And also it has like the elements that I wish Ready Player One did better, of like the, hey, we're in a cool game world, but it also feels a little Matrixy. It's really cool. I'm a really big fan so far.
Okay. Yeah, and I might have to check it out simply by virtue of the fact that dude who may or may not be my cousin is in it. An actor named Chris Coy, who had a brief appearance in The Walking Dead, and that's where I first learned about him. But from the Louisville, Kentucky area, which I know that a lot of my kin are from Kentucky. That's where my paternal grandfather grew up, not too far from there. And I know for a fact that I've got people down there that I know nothing about. And he looks like he could be related to my dad's side of the family. So anytime I see him pop up in something, I'm like, cousin Chris. I have no idea. We might not be related at all, but
it's a possibility.
It's funny. I mean, it's almost a given, just given the geography and the facial structure, almost
and the name.
Definitely. But yeah, so I'll have to check that. I have been seeing that around, and it does look very interesting. So I'll have to check that out. So I mentioned that the Mike Flanagan Netflix shows were some of the best horror that I've ever seen. But I've used that phrase about at least one film that we have covered for Never Heard of It. And if you remember, that was Josh Rubin's Scare Me. Yeah.
Yes.
I finally
got that movie.
Finally got around to it. For my birthday, I used some Play Store credit that I had, and I bought myself the copy of Werewolves Within.
Yeah, based on a video game.
Based on a video game. See, there's more gaming links.
Or a game.
Which based on a video game, which is based on a more like party game, basically.
Yeah, like a party board game or something. Yeah.
Which we play every now and then at work amongst my team. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, so I will go so far as to say I didn't enjoy it as much as Scare Me, but I mean, that's difficult because that movie was an absolute fucking masterstroke. But still, just so much fun, wonderfully cast, perfectly acted, and kept me guessing through the whole thing, as it should have. It just a fun little kind of scary movie, and absolute recommend. I mean, Josh Rubin's 2 for 2 for me, and I know that he's got at least one more out recently that I want to check out as well. And so like he's got my vote from here on out. He's someone that like I will instantly say, yeah, I'll check that out if I see him attached to it.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really know what the like commercial success of his films are because both of them went directly to Shudder. But I hope they're doing really well on Shudder because
Same.
I want him to get anything he wants to do greenlit.
And like
always.
For if you want a deep cut for the time that I went over and did a guest appearance on the Superpod Hero Cast, our friends, guys with beers, talking about movies with capes, and out of revenge for us bringing them on to talk about Spaghetti Man, they made me join them for Dark Man, which if you listened to that episode or have heard me talk about that movie at all since, I don't like it. It was bad. I don't like Sam Raimi.
Right.
I had a bad time with the movie. I had a great time with the guys. It was a great show to do. But on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, of people who do like Dark Man, Josh Rubin is way up there at the top and has been angling to get rights to do a remake. And I'll be goddamned if I hope he doesn't get it.
Yeah. That is a petition I will sign.
Absolutely.
Like, in
and
a
I
heartbeat.
will watch it. I fucking hated the original, but I will watch it. Even if he does like a full on like homage to all things Raimi, I'll still watch it just out of support for Josh because I know he knows what he's doing. But yeah, that's how much I respect him.
I mean, that's a good amount of respect, and I completely agree. For those of you listening, one, watch Scare Me. 2, go back and listen to our episode Scare Me, where we actually talked to Josh about the movie. He was such a delight. He was hilarious. So definitely go back and listen to that episode and watch that movie because it is literally a masterpiece. I cannot stress enough how like that is one of like I will say like there are very few perfect films for me. Like Jaws is a perfect film for me.
Yeah.
Scare Me is up there.
Yeah.
Like it is in that top 5 of like this is a perfect film.
Agreed. I don't recall having any criticisms of it. At least not any legitimate ones.
Right.
But so we did something kind of fun the other day where, and this was actually mostly Ellen's idea. She's just like, I just want to watch movies tonight. And that's not something we do too often. Usually it's just like shut our brains off and watch stupid TV, or I'm watching a film for this podcast. And, we do every now and then try to have a movie night. That's how I, stumbled across Save Yourselves way back and whatnot. But she picked out, and I'm glad that she did because I had seen it and it kind of like partially registered in the back of my brain, but didn't really stick there. Another throwback reference for us here, Jenny Slate has a film called I Want You Back that is a Prime original that released fairly recently. It was this year. Jenny Slate and Charlie Day. And,
that's a good combo.
I'm not going to say that it was the exact opposite of Werewolves Within, but tonally very different, but still quirky and fun and cute. And this is more of a rom-com, and the whole setup, like both of these two characters get brutally dumped by their significant others, and they're broken up about it. It's just tragic, and they meet and they hatch a plan to help break each other's exes up with their new significant others so that they can get their people back, and hilarity ensues. Really, really, really good, thoughtful story. However you think it's going to go, it probably doesn't. And I really appreciated that because there's
I like that.
A lot of tropes that they could have very easily played directly into, and it would have been just like, okay, this is predictable. It's just another rom-com. There are also ways that they could have completely flipped the script and gone like way off the usual trail. They don't quite do that. It's somewhere in between, and it walks a fine line and does it really, really well. Directed by Jason Orley. written by Isaac Aptiker and Elizabeth Berger. But yeah, Charlie Day and Jenny Slate, absolutely wonderful on screen together. And I cannot recommend it enough.
What else did Jason Orley do, the director?
Let's find out.
I recognize that name.
Director for Pete Davidson Presents The Best Friends, which Pete Davidson does make an appearance in this, but is actually kind of funny in it, which surprised me. He directed Big Time Adolescence.
That's how I know that name.
That's how you know him.
There it is.
He's credited as writer and director for Big Time Adolescence, which... Again, very funny movie.
Good movie.
That was kind of the first of the big movies to break it out for American High, right?
That was the big movie that it actually ended up winning Sundance the year that it went out there, and that was the start of their big Hulu deal. So they make the Hulu originals now because of that film.
And it's like I instinctively dislike Pete Davidson in almost everything.
Sure.
But there are certain situations where like he's handed the right script and it plays just to his like goofy shitbaggery that it just fucking works. And this and Big Time Adolescence is probably the best example, but his brief role in I Want You Back is also really good like that. It's a very similar character. If you give Pete Davidson that character to play, he will deliver.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing with a lot of those type of characters. Like you write the character and you're like, I am writing Pete Davidson.
Yes.
And then Pete Davidson steps in the role and you're like, that is perfect.
Exactly,
like, you're doing great.
Yeah.
But then you see characters like him and actors like him, and then you're like, ugh, you're obnoxious. But like, damn, do you play that character so well? That's like that is your personality, like, and it just works. It just works for you.
He's the guy you don't want around until he's the guy you want around.
That's exactly it. Yeah. So that's great. Love watching movies when you just can. I need to. I'm probably gonna watch a million more, but I'm stuck on the Peripheral, man. It's really good. And a lot of anime this season too. Chainsaw Man.
Oh,
great anime this season. If you're an anime fan, you're watching Chainsaw Man because it is wild as shit.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Next time we get back together, I may be able to talk about Good Omens finally, because we're talking about finally getting around to starting that like 10 years later or however long it's been.
Well, they have a new season coming up, don't they?
Sure.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Internet. Hey, you tell us,
It's on my mind because it was literally just before I walked into the room to come and record. Ellen was like, we have to watch this. And I was like, yes, we do. And then I put a brownie in my mouth and walked away.
And walked in here. So let us know, is there a new season of Good Omens for those of you watching and those of you listening? Hey, for both watching and listening, hit that subscribe button. We have brand new episodes every Thursday and Friday. Thursday, as you guys can see, we talk about, whatever's going on, things that we've been watching recently. And think the other person should watch or that you should watch and partake in. And then on Sundays, we have our full review episodes of movies. This Sunday, we're doing the movie I Declare War, which is a Hulu original. And this is the one where you get to find out if Caleb and I watched the same movie, because there are multiple ones of them
there are several
available
movies called I Declare War
on Hulu. So this is going to be the fun surprise of, did we watch the same movie and how does that play out? But the movie is on Hulu, so you can go to Hulu and watch one of the I Declare Wars and see if you ended up watching the same one as the one we did for the episode.
Yeah.
So that's how you know. So hit that subscribe button, YouTube, hit it on your podcast player of choice so you're notified on Sunday when this brand new episode drops. And of course, follow us all over on the social media, links down below in the show notes. And you know what? Hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And make sure to share with 100,000 of your closest Peripheral friends.
And if you don't do it for us, do it for the fact that apparently Nick Nolte is still acting.
Well, that was a surprise. Good to know.
And you wouldn't have known if it weren't for this show.
You're learning something new every Thursday. This is great. So there it is, everyone. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you on Sunday.